Religion has been a cornerstone of human civilization for thousands of years, shaping our societies, influencing cultures, and guiding the moral and spiritual lives of billions. From the bustling temples of India to the silent meditation halls of Japan, from the towering cathedrals of Europe to the sacred mosques and shrines of the Middle East, religions are as diverse as the people who follow them. Yet, with this diversity comes a complex web of myths, misunderstandings, and lesser-known truths that have woven themselves into the fabric of our collective understanding. In this documentary, we aim to journey through some of the world's most prominent religions, delving into the origins, beliefs, and practices that define them. We'll explore not only the foundational aspects, but also the myths and misconceptions that often blur the lines between tradition and myth, fact and fiction. By shedding light on these elements, we hope to foster a deeper understanding of each belief system, appreciating their unique contributions to humanity. Our approach is rooted in respect and education. This is not a discussion of right or wrong, nor a judgment of beliefs, but rather an exploration into the ways these religions influence our world and the ways they are sometimes misunderstood. So, as we embark on this journey together, let us keep open minds and open hearts as we explore the myths, legends, and truths behind some of the most influential religions across the globe. Starting our journey at number 1 on our list, let's delve into Christianity. Christianity is the world's largest religion, with over 2 billion followers spanning every continent. Rooted in the teachings of Jesus Christ, Christianity centers on the belief in one God, with Jesus seen as both divine and human. God incarnate who lived, died, and rose again to redeem humanity from sin. It is a religion of love, grace, and redemption, and its influence can be seen not only in religious practices, but throughout history, art, literature, and the moral frameworks of entire societies. The core beliefs of Christianity are encapsulated in the Nicene Creed, which outlines the understanding of God as a Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, each distinct but unified as one. Christians believe that this triune God created the world, continues to interact with it, and desires a relationship with every person. Through Jesus' teachings, miracles, and ultimately his crucifixion and resurrection, Christians find hope and guidance, aiming to live in ways that reflect his love and compassion. Over centuries, Christianity has branched into 3 main traditions: Catholicism, Protestantism, and Orthodoxy, each with unique interpretations and practices. Catholicism, rooted in Rome, traces its lineage directly back to the Apostles, with a strong emphasis on the teachings of the Pope as the leader of the Church and the importance of the sacraments, such as baptism, communion, and confession. For Catholics, tradition holds a significant place alongside the Bible, shaping the way the faith is lived and understood. Orthodoxy, with its origins in the Eastern Roman Empire, particularly emphasizes the mystical and sacramental aspects of Christianity. Orthodoxy is highly ritualistic, deeply spiritual, and follows a liturgical calendar that celebrates the mysteries of faith. In Eastern Orthodox Christianity, icons or holy images play an important role, serving as windows into the divine, a tangible way to connect with God through art. Protestantism, which arose during the Reformation in the 16th century, places a primary emphasis on the Bible as the ultimate authority in matters of faith and practice. Protestants generally hold that salvation is by faith alone, rather than by a combination of faith and works. Protestantism includes a vast array of denominations, from Baptists and Methodists to Lutherans and Pentecostals, each with distinct beliefs, yet united by a commitment to following Jesus and interpreting the Bible for guidance. Throughout Christianity's evolution, certain myths have emerged, often distorting its history, beliefs, and practices. Let's explore a few of the more common ones, beginning with 2 of Christianity's most widely celebrated holidays, Christmas and Easter. Christmas, for most Christians, celebrates the birth of Jesus Christ, while Easter commemorates his resurrection. However, it's a common misconception that Christmas was always celebrated in December and that Easter has exclusively Christian origins. In truth, The early church did not formally celebrate Christmas. The date of December 25th was chosen in the 4th century, partly to coincide with pre-Christian festivals that marked the winter solstice, like Saturnalia in ancient Rome. This timing made it easier for new converts to embrace the holiday within a familiar context, blending older traditions with the celebration of Jesus' birth. Easter, on the other hand, is rooted in the Jewish Passover, the context in which Jesus was crucified and rose again. However, myths have arisen suggesting that Easter's symbols, like eggs and rabbits, are directly borrowed from pagan spring fertility rites. While it's true that eggs and rabbits were springtime symbols in various cultures, Christianity redefined these symbols to represent new life and resurrection. Thus, the common idea that Easter is simply a Christianized pagan festival isn't entirely accurate. While some cultural symbols may have parallels, the focus on resurrection is distinct to Christian belief. Another misunderstood belief within Christianity is the concept of the Trinity, the idea that God exists as three persons, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. It is not uncommon for people, even some Christians, to wrestle with this mystery. Some mistakenly interpret the Trinity as three separate gods, or as God adopting different roles, almost like an actor switching between characters. In Christian theology, however, the Trinity is understood not as three gods, but as one God in three persons, co-equal, co-eternal, and united in essence. This unity is a profound mystery and one of the unique aspects of Christian theology. It reflects the nature of God as a loving relationship, with the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit existing together in perfect harmony. This idea was formalized in early Christianity through councils, such as the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, to ensure a shared understanding across the growing Christian world. The mystery of the Trinity speaks to the depths of God's nature, something many Christians believe is ultimately beyond full human comprehension, but provides a foundation for understanding God's relational and loving nature. Now let's explore some of the interesting facts related to early Christian sects and diversity in beliefs. In its early years, Christianity was not as unified as it might appear today. Different sects and communities held various beliefs about Jesus, the nature of salvation, and how to interpret his teachings. For example, the Ebionites, one early Christian group, saw Jesus as a fully human prophet and teacher, while others, like the Gnostics, believed that Jesus had a secret spiritual knowledge that offered salvation. These different perspectives show that from its inception, Christianity was a diverse and evolving movement, with followers debating and interpreting Jesus' message in multiple ways. Over time, councils and creeds helped to consolidate beliefs, giving Christianity a unified core. But this early diversity speaks to the many ways people have sought to understand and live by Jesus' teachings. Today, the diversity within Christianity reflects its adaptability and universality, with each branch, Catholic, Orthodox, and Protestant, offering unique perspectives on the same foundational beliefs. This variety has allowed Christianity to take root in countless cultures, each interpreting its core message through different lenses, while maintaining a common connection to Jesus' life and teachings. As we close our exploration, let's reflect on what we've uncovered in the Christianity segment. In Christianity, as in many religions, we find a blend of tradition, adaptation, and myth, echoes of the past interwoven with beliefs that continue to shape the lives of millions. In uncovering the myths around Christmas, Easter, and the Trinity, as well as glimpsing the diverse expressions of faith that emerged in Christianity's early days, we gain a fuller picture of this remarkable religion. Understanding these layers of belief and history can help dispel misconceptions, fostering not only a deeper understanding of Christianity, but also a greater respect for the rich traditions that inspire its followers worldwide. Moving on to the next in our lineup, at number 2 we find Islam. Islam is one of the world's major religions, with over 1.9 billion followers worldwide, known as Muslims. Rooted in the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, Islam emerged in the 7th century in the Arabian Peninsula. The word Islam itself means submission or surrender to the will of Allah, the Arabic word for God. Muslims believe that Islam is a continuation and completion of the monotheistic faith revealed through previous prophets, such as Moses and Jesus, who are also honored figures in Islam. At the core of Islamic belief are the 5 pillars which guide a Muslim's faith and practices. These 5 pillars serve as the foundation of a Muslim's life, establishing a balance between spiritual obligations and social responsibilities. The first pillar is the Shahada, the declaration of faith. There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. This simple statement affirms the oneness of God and Muhammad as the final prophet, and it forms the basis of Islamic identity. The second pillar is Salah, or prayer, which is performed 5 times a day. Each prayer is a moment to connect with Allah, fostering mindfulness and gratitude throughout the day. Muslims face the Kaaba in Mecca while praying, symbolizing unity among Muslims worldwide. The third pillar, Zakat, or almsgiving, emphasizes charity and caring for those in need. Muslims are encouraged to give a portion of their wealth to support those less fortunate, embodying the belief that one's wealth is a blessing from Allah meant to benefit society as a whole. Psalm, better known as fasting during the holy month of Ramadan, is the 4th pillar. From dawn to sunset, Muslims abstain from food, drink, and other physical needs as a means of spiritual purification and self-discipline. Ramadan is a time of reflection, empathy, and gratitude for life's blessings. The 5th and final pillar is Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca. This is a journey that every Muslim is expected to undertake at least once in their lifetime, if financially and physically able. Hajj unites Muslims from all over the world in a profound communal experience, following in the footsteps of the Prophet Abraham. In addition to these central beliefs, Islam has 2 major denominations, Sunni and Shia. While they share most fundamental beliefs, their differences trace back to a historical debate over leadership after the Prophet Muhammad's death. The Sunni branch, making up the majority of Muslims worldwide, believes that the community should choose its leaders, who are expected to uphold Islamic principles, but are not necessarily part of the Prophet's lineage. Sunnis respect the early caliphs who succeeded Muhammad as leaders of the Muslim community. The Shia branch, on the other hand, holds that leadership should remain within the Prophet's family. Shia Muslims revere Ali, Muhammad's cousin and son-in-law, as the rightful successor and view his descendants, known as imams, as spiritual and political leaders. This distinction in leadership has led to unique cultural and theological practices within each branch, though both Sunni and Shia Muslims remain united in their core beliefs. Now let's dive into some common myths in Islam. Like many religions, Islam faces widespread misconceptions and myths. 2 of the most common misunderstandings surround the concept of jihad and the role of women in Islam. The word jihad is perhaps one of the most misunderstood terms in Islam. In Arabic, jihad means struggle or striving, and in the context of Islam, it represents a struggle on multiple levels. The primary and most emphasized form of jihad is the internal spiritual struggle to live a righteous life, stay faithful, and resist personal weaknesses. This greater jihad, as it's often called, is about self-improvement and fulfilling one's responsibilities to Allah, family, and society. The lesser jihad, which involves armed struggle, is only permitted in Islam under specific defensive circumstances. According to Islamic teachings, fighting is only justifiable in cases of oppression or when the faith itself is under threat, and even then, it comes with strict rules. For example, the Quran prohibits harming civilians, damaging property, and engaging in warfare without just cause. Thus, the commonly held idea that jihad refers solely to violence or holy war is a distortion of its broader and more profound meaning. Another widely misunderstood aspect of Islam is the role of women, particularly the wearing of the hijab, or headscarf. Many believe that Islam oppresses women, or that the hijab is a symbol of subjugation. In reality, Islamic teachings emphasize the equality of men and women, with both given rights to education, property, and personal agency. The hijab is meant as a form of modesty, reflecting the belief that one's character and spirituality are more important than outward appearance. In Islam, modesty applies to both men and women, though it is often more visible for women. The choice to wear the hijab is personal, varying widely across cultures and individuals. In many Muslim-majority countries, women wear the hijab by choice, seeing it as a way to express their faith and identity. It's important to understand that Islam's teachings encourage dignity and respect for women, although, like all religions, cultural practices sometimes diverge from religious principles. Now let's explore Islam's role in the Golden Age of science. During the 8th to 14th centuries, while Europe was experiencing the Middle Ages, Islamic civilization reached what is known as the Golden Age of science. This was a period of significant advancements in mathematics, medicine, astronomy, and philosophy, largely driven by Islamic values of learning, inquiry, and intellectual exchange. Muslim scholars translated Greek and Roman texts, preserving and expanding upon them, and their innovations influenced fields of knowledge that are still relevant today. One of the key figures of this era was Al-Khwarizmi, a mathematician whose works on algebra introduced the concept to the Western world. Indeed, the word algebra itself comes from his book, Kitab al-Jabr. In medicine, figures like Ibn Sina or Avicenna made groundbreaking contributions that shaped modern medical practices. Ibn Sina's The Canon of Medicine was a comprehensive medical text used in European universities for centuries. Islamic astronomers made strides as well, mapping the stars and planets and developing accurate calendars. They used astrolabes to navigate and observe the heavens, which helped in fields as diverse as timekeeping, religious observance, and maritime exploration. This emphasis on learning and knowledge wasn't limited to the sciences. Islamic philosophers engaged with questions of existence, ethics, and metaphysics, drawing on both Islamic and Greek philosophies to create new schools of thought. That completes our look at this remarkable segment on Islam. Through its 5 pillars, Islam provides a framework for living a life in service to Allah and humanity, with an emphasis on community, compassion, and humility. In exploring Islam's diverse beliefs, practices, and contributions to knowledge, we see a religion deeply committed to understanding the world and one's place within it. Dispelling myths surrounding concepts like jihad and the hijab helps clarify the true spirit of Islam, which has been a guiding force in shaping societies, advancing knowledge and fostering peace. And as we reflect on Islam's legacy during the Golden Age of science, we see a culture rooted in inquiry, reverence for learning, and a belief that faith and reason can harmoniously coexist. For billions of Muslims, Islam is not merely a set of rituals or beliefs, but a pathway to a more meaningful, purposeful life. By understanding its nuances, we can appreciate Islam's rich history and enduring influence on humanity. Next up, at number 3, we have Hinduism. Hinduism is one of the oldest known religions, with roots reaching back over 4,000 years. With nearly 1 billion followers today, primarily in India and Nepal, it stands as the world's 3rd largest religion. Unlike many religions with a single founder, Hinduism is a rich, complex tradition that has evolved over millennia, embracing a vast spectrum of beliefs, practices, and philosophical ideas. For many Hindus, religion is not just a set of beliefs, but a way of life deeply connected to the rhythms of nature, community, and the universe. At the heart of Hindu thought are the concepts of karma, dharma, and reincarnation, fundamental ideas that shape a Hindu's understanding of life, morality, and existence itself. Karma is the law of cause and effect. It teaches that every action, word, or thought we produce has consequences, either in this life or in future lives. Good actions are believed to lead to positive outcomes, while harmful actions result in negative consequences. Karma is not seen as a form of punishment or reward, but as a natural law, emphasizing the idea that our choices directly impact our journey through life. Dharma refers to duty, righteousness, or the moral path. Dharma is personal, meaning it can vary from person to person depending on factors like age, occupation, and stage of life. A king's dharma, for example, differs from a farmer's or a student's. Dharma serves as a guiding principle, encouraging individuals to fulfill their responsibilities and contribute positively to society. It promotes harmony and balance in all aspects of life, helping to maintain the order of the world. Reincarnation is the belief that, after death, the soul, or Atman, is reborn into a new body. This cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, known as samsara, continues until one achieves moksha, liberation from the cycle. Moksha is the ultimate goal for Hindus, representing unity with Brahman, the supreme reality. To attain moksha, one must overcome ignorance and ego, often through spiritual practices, meditation, and selfless action. Hinduism's spiritual landscape is famously diverse, with a vast pantheon of gods that may appear complex to outsiders. At first glance, it may seem as though Hinduism is polytheistic, with gods like Vishnu, Shiva, Lakshmi, and Saraswati worshipped as separate deities. However, at a deeper level, Hindus believe in a single supreme reality called Brahman. Brahman is not a personified god, but rather an infinite, all-encompassing presence that underlies everything. The many gods in Hinduism, therefore, are seen as different aspects or manifestations of Brahman, allowing devotees to connect with the divine in ways that are personally meaningful. This flexibility means that Hinduism can appear polytheistic, monotheistic, or even pantheistic, depending on one's perspective. Now let's dive into the lesser-known truths behind widely held Hindu myths. Over the centuries, several misconceptions have emerged about Hinduism, many of which are related to the nature of its gods and the caste system. One of the most common myths about Hinduism is the belief that it worships many separate gods, much like ancient Greek or Roman pantheons. However, in Hindu thought, the gods are ultimately unified as expressions of Brahman, the one supreme reality. Hindus may choose to worship one god or goddess in particular, such as Vishnu or Shiva, without seeing them as separate from the ultimate reality of Brahman. In practice, Hindus may focus their devotion on one deity, known as their Ishta Devata or chosen deity, but still acknowledge and respect the unity of all divine aspects. This pluralism allows Hinduism to be deeply personal and adaptable, with each god symbolizing different aspects of life such as creation, preservation, destruction, wealth, and knowledge. Another significant and often misunderstood aspect of Hinduism is the caste system. Many people believe that the caste system is strictly a religious institution rooted in Hindu doctrine. Historically, the caste system, or varna, began as a way to organize society into different roles such as priests, warriors, merchants, and laborers. These roles were not originally based on birth, but rather on one's talents and responsibilities. Over time, however, this system became rigid and associated with social hierarchy and privilege, influenced by cultural rather than religious factors. Hindu scriptures like the Bhagavad Gita and the Vedas reference varna, but they don't advocate for the caste discrimination or social rigidity that emerged later. Many modern Hindus actively oppose the caste system, seeing it as a distortion of dharma and a departure from Hindu ideals of equality and compassion. Today, the caste system is often more cultural than religious, and efforts to dismantle caste-based discrimination have been supported by numerous Hindu reform movements. Exploring further, let's look at some interesting fact about the role of sacred texts. Hinduism's teachings, beliefs, and philosophies are captured in an extensive body of sacred texts, with the Vedas and Upanishads being among the oldest and most revered. The Vedas, written in ancient Sanskrit, are considered the foundational scriptures of Hinduism. These texts date back to around 1500 BCE and are divided into 4 collections: the Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharvaveda. The Vedas include hymns, prayers, rituals, and instructions for ceremonies, reflecting the early religious practices of Hinduism. They are often chanted or sung, and their verses continue to be recited in Hindu rituals today. The Upanishads, written later than the Vedas, delve into the philosophical aspects of Hinduism. While the Vedas are more focused on rituals and hymns, the Upanishads explore the nature of reality, the self, and Brahman. They introduce ideas like the Atman, soul, and moksha, liberation, presenting a more introspective and contemplative side of Hinduism. The Upanishads are sometimes called the end of the Vedas, as they represent a shift from ritualistic practices to inner knowledge and self-realization. Together, the Vedas and Upanishads lay the foundation for Hindu beliefs, yet Hinduism's sacred texts extend far beyond these. The Mahabharata, which includes the beloved Bhagavad Gita, and the Ramayana, are epic narratives that bring Hindu values and teachings to life through stories of divine characters like Krishna and Rama. These texts serve not only as spiritual guides, but also as sources of cultural wisdom and ethical inspiration for Hindus around the world. As we come to an end of our Hinduism segment, we can conclude Hinduism, with its deep philosophical roots, vibrant rituals, and diverse expressions, is a religion that defies easy categorization. At its core, Hinduism teaches respect for all life, reverence for the divine in all forms, and a path toward unity with Brahman. By understanding concepts like karma, dharma, and reincarnation, we see a worldview that emphasizes responsibility, spiritual growth, and harmony with all beings. As we explore the myths surrounding Hinduism, whether it's the idea of many gods or the origins of the caste system, we gain a clearer view of a religion that is both ancient and evolving, personal and universal. Hinduism's sacred texts, such as the Vedas and Upanishads, remind us of the profound wisdom that has shaped human thought for thousands of years. For Hindus, religion is more than belief. It's an ongoing journey toward truth, compassion, and enlightenment, connecting each person to the vast tapestry of existence. And as we look deeper, we discover that Hinduism is, at its essence, a celebration of the diversity, unity, and mystery of life itself. Now let's shift our focus to number 4 on our list, Judaism. Judaism is one of the oldest monotheistic religions in the world, tracing its roots back over 3,000 years to the ancient land of Israel. With around 15 million followers worldwide, Judaism has had a significant influence on global culture, ethics, and religious thought. Unlike many religions, Judaism is not only a set of beliefs, but also a rich cultural and historical tradition that has shaped the lives of its followers across centuries and continents. It's a faith centered on the relationship between the Jewish people and God, rooted in a deep history of perseverance, scholarship, and spirituality. The foundation of Jewish belief is monotheism, the belief in one all-powerful God who created the universe and who cares deeply for his creation. In Judaism, God is seen as both just and merciful, guiding humanity through the moral and ethical laws outlined in the Torah, the most sacred text in Judaism. The Torah, often referred to as the 5 books of Moses, includes Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. It contains the laws, stories, and teachings that shape Jewish life and practice, from the 10 Commandments to the stories of the patriarchs, such as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The Torah is part of a larger body of Jewish texts known as the Tanakh, or the Hebrew Bible, which includes additional books of prophecy, poetry, and wisdom. Another essential text in Judaism is the Talmud, a collection of discussions, interpretations, and debates by ancient rabbis about the Torah's teachings. The Talmud helps Jews understand how to apply the Torah's commandments to daily life, reflecting Judaism's emphasis on study, debate, and the pursuit of wisdom. Together, the Torah and Talmud provide the foundation for Jewish law, known as halakha, which guides everything from ethical conduct to daily rituals and dietary practices. Judaism is also a deeply community-oriented faith. For many Jewish people, belonging to a synagogue, celebrating holidays together, and observing rituals like Shabbat, the Sabbath, are ways to connect not only with God, but with their community and heritage. Observing Shabbat from Friday evening to Saturday evening is a time to rest, reflect, and appreciate the blessings of life, dedicating time to family, worship, and rejuvenation. Jewish identity is multifaceted. While Judaism is a religion, it is also a culture, a heritage, and, for many, an ethnicity. Being Jewish is often seen as a way of life that encompasses shared values, traditions, and a unique sense of identity that has been shaped by centuries of history, including moments of intense persecution and resilience. Jewish culture has produced countless contributions to art, literature, philosophy, and science, enriching the societies in which Jewish communities have lived. Now let's take a closer look at myths and misconceptions in Judaism. Over time, myths and misconceptions have developed surrounding Judaism, particularly regarding Jewish identity and the concept of the Messiah. One common misconception is that Judaism is only a religion, or alternatively, only an ethnicity. In truth, Judaism transcends these categories. While religious observance and faith are essential components, Jewish identity also includes a cultural and ethnic dimension that connects people through shared history, language, and customs. This dual nature means that some people identify as culturally Jewish even if they don't practice Judaism religiously, while others may convert to Judaism, embracing both its religious and cultural traditions. Jewish identity is also passed down through generations, traditionally from the mother to her children. However, conversions to Judaism are welcomed, and converts are considered as fully Jewish as those born into the faith. This unique blend of religious and cultural identity allows Judaism to adapt to different times and places while preserving a shared heritage. Today, Jewish communities are found all over the world, from North America to Europe, the Middle East, and beyond, each adapting Jewish traditions to fit their distinct cultural settings. Another common myth about Judaism relates to the concept of the Messiah. In Judaism, the Messiah is not viewed in the same way as in Christianity. Instead of a divine figure, the Jewish Messiah is expected to be a human leader, descended from King David, who will bring about a time of peace, justice, and spiritual renewal. This future leader will unite humanity and rebuild the temple in Jerusalem, ushering in an era known as the Messianic Age. Jewish teachings emphasize that the Messiah's arrival will be accompanied by universal harmony, where nations will live in peace and people will turn their hearts toward each other and toward God. For Jews, the Messiah has yet to come, which contrasts with the Christian belief in Jesus as the Messiah. This difference is one of the key distinctions between Judaism and Christianity. Some interpretations within Judaism suggest that the Messianic age might come not through one individual, but through humanity collectively working toward a world of peace and justice. This understanding of the Messiah emphasizes the role of each person in bringing about positive change, reflecting Judaism's broader focus on ethics, responsibility, and making the world a better place. Peeling back the layers, we find some interesting facts about Judaism's influence on Christianity and Islam. An interesting fact about Judaism is its profound influence on both Christianity and Islam. As the oldest of the three Abrahamic religions, Judaism laid the foundation for monotheistic belief, concepts of morality, and the idea of a covenant, or sacred agreement, between God and humanity. Christianity emerged from within the Jewish tradition, with Jesus of Nazareth born into a Jewish family and community. Many of Christianity's teachings are rooted in Jewish scripture, and figures like Abraham, Moses, and David hold an essential place in both religions. The Jewish moral code, including the Ten Commandments, became foundational elements within Christian teachings. In addition, Christian holidays like Easter and Passover have roots in Jewish traditions, reflecting the shared history and values between the two faiths. Islam also shares deep connections with Judaism. Muslims revere many of the same prophets, including Abraham, Ibrahim, Moses, Musa, and David, Dawood. The Quran recounts stories from the Hebrew Bible, and Islamic law, or Sharia, shares similarities with halakha in its attention to ethical conduct, prayer, and charity. The concept of one God, known as Allah in Islam, is shared by Judaism and Islam. and both religions emphasize the importance of daily prayer, fasting, and giving to those in need. These commonalities among Judaism, Christianity, and Islam have led to the term Abrahamic religions, highlighting their shared ancestry and many overlapping values. Together, these three faiths have shaped the moral, philosophical, and cultural landscapes of much of the world. As we wrap up the Judaism segment, we're reminded of the enduring influence of Judaism. Judaism is a tradition rooted in faith, ethics, and a deep connection to history. It has survived and thrived across millennia, shaping and being shaped by the cultures around it. With its focus on community, study, and responsibility, Judaism offers a way of life that values compassion, justice, and a commitment to making the world a better place. By exploring myths about Jewish identity and the concept of the Messiah, we gain a more accurate understanding of a faith that is both a religion and a people, a spiritual path, and a shared culture. And through its profound influence on Christianity and Islam, we see Judaism's enduring legacy, inspiring millions across the globe. For Jewish people, being Jewish is often more than belief. It is a shared journey across generations, a testament to resilience, and a commitment to living with purpose and integrity. Through the wisdom of its texts and the richness of its traditions, Judaism continues to offer insights into life, community, and the sacred bonds that unite humanity. Let's now turn to number 5 on our list, Sikhism. Sikhism is one of the youngest major world religions, with over 25 million followers globally. Founded in the 15th century in the Punjab region of South Asia, Sikhism was established by Guru Nanak, a spiritual teacher whose teachings emphasized the unity of God, the importance of equality, and a devotion to truth and service. Unlike many other religions, Sikhism emerged within a highly diverse cultural context, in a region influenced by both Hinduism and Islam. Yet it grew into a distinct and unique tradition with its own beliefs, practices, and values. The story of Sikhism begins with Guru Nanak, 1469 to 1539, a visionary who, from an early age, questioned the religious divisions and social inequalities he saw around him. According to Sikh tradition, Guru Nanak had a powerful spiritual experience in his early 30s, during which he realized the presence of one God who transcended all religions and creeds. Guru Nanak began teaching that God, whom Sikhs refer to as Waheguru or Wonderful Teacher, is without form, all-encompassing, and accessible to everyone, regardless of background, gender, or status. Guru Nanak's message emphasized a direct relationship with God, free from the need for intermediaries, rituals, or elaborate ceremonies. One of Sikhism's core beliefs is the idea of equality. For Sikhs, all people are considered equal in the eyes of God, and this principle extends to every aspect of life, from worship to daily interactions. Sikh teachings reject social hierarchies based on caste, class, or gender, and emphasize that all people have the right to dignity and respect. This belief in equality led Guru Nanak and his followers to challenge many of the social norms of their time, promoting ideals of justice, fairness, and compassion. In addition to equality, service is central to Sikhism. The Sikh concept of seva, or selfless service, encourages Sikhs to dedicate time and resources to help others, embodying the belief that serving humanity is a way to honor God. This commitment to service is exemplified in the langar, a community kitchen found in every Sikh gurdwara, or place of worship. In the langar, Sikhs prepare and serve free meals to anyone who comes, regardless of religion, caste, or social standing. The langar is a powerful symbol of equality and humility, where people from all walks of life can sit side by side and share a meal. Another important aspect of Sikhism is the Khalsa, a spiritual community established by Guru Gobind Singh, the 10th Sikh Guru, in 1699. The Khalsa, which means pure or sovereign, was created as a brotherhood of committed Sikhs who would uphold the values of courage, integrity, and devotion. Members of the Khalsa follow the 5 Ks, which are physical symbols of their faith: Kesh, uncut hair; Kara, a steel bracelet; Kanga, a wooden comb; Kachara, cotton undergarments, and kirpan, a ceremonial sword. Each of these items has a symbolic meaning, reminding Sikhs of their commitment to the faith, their equality with others, and their duty to stand up for justice. Now we dive into common myths and misconceptions about Sikhism that often confuse outsiders and insiders alike. Despite its unique identity, Sikhism is often misunderstood or confused with other religions, leading to several common myths. One frequent misconception is that Sikhism is a blend of Hinduism and Islam. While Sikhism arose in a region influenced by both of these religions, it is a distinct and independent faith. Guru Nanak and the Sikh gurus emphasized that Sikhism was neither Hindu nor Muslim, but a separate path focused on a direct connection with God and the importance of living a truthful and ethical life. Sikhism teaches the belief in one God, similar to Islam, but it rejects the caste system, polytheism, and reincarnation in the way they appear in Hinduism. Although Sikhism shares certain elements with both religions, its teachings, practices, and philosophy make it a unique tradition with its own identity. Another common myth relates to the Sikh identity, particularly the turban. Many people mistakenly associate the turban with a symbol of extremism or believe it is worn only by Muslims. In Sikhism, however, the turban holds deep significance. Sikh men and some women wear the turban as a sign of their commitment to their faith and values. It serves as a reminder of the equality, integrity, and humility that Sikhs strive to embody. The turban is also a marker of Sikh identity, helping distinguish Sikhs and their dedication to the principles of the Khalsa. For Sikhs, the turban is not merely a piece of clothing, it is a sacred symbol of honor, dignity, and spiritual commitment. Sikh teachings emphasize the importance of upholding these values publicly, and the turban serves as a visible expression of this commitment. Unfortunately, due to lack of awareness, Sikh individuals are sometimes subject to discrimination and misunderstanding. Educating people about the true meaning of the turban can help foster respect and understanding for the Sikh identity and its values. Let's continue with exploring the importance of community service and the langar in Sikhism. An interesting and unique feature of Sikhism is its emphasis on community service, particularly through the langar, or community kitchen. The langar tradition was started by Guru Nanak, who believed that sharing food and serving others could help eliminate social barriers. Today, the langar is a defining aspect of Sikhism, embodying the principles of equality, compassion, and generosity. In Sikh gurdwaras, volunteers cook and serve meals to everyone who visits, regardless of their background, status, or faith. The langar is open to all, with people from all walks of life sitting together on the floor, symbolizing equality and humility. In some of the world's largest gurdwaras, such as the Golden Temple in Amritsar, India, the langar serves thousands of people every day, entirely free of charge. Sikhs consider serving in the langar an honor and an opportunity to practice seva, or selfless service, one of the highest values in Sikhism. The langar is a powerful expression of Sikh values and demonstrates the community's commitment to inclusivity and helping those in need. Beyond the Gurdwara, Sikhs extend their tradition of service through countless humanitarian efforts, from disaster relief to charitable initiatives. Many Sikhs participate in Nishkam Seva, a term meaning selfless service without expectation of reward, guided by the belief that serving others is a direct way to serve God. In conclusion, Sikhism is a faith rooted in simplicity, equality, and service, with teachings that emphasize a direct relationship with God and a commitment to truth and justice. Founded by Guru Nanak and further shaped by the 10 Sikh gurus, Sikhism offers a path that promotes inner spirituality alongside a life of compassion, ethics, and humility. By dispelling myths around Sikhism's unique identity and the significance of the turban, we can better appreciate the values that define this faith. Sikhism's emphasis on community service, particularly through the langar, exemplifies its dedication to equality, kindness, and service to humanity. For Sikhs, faith is not confined to ritual, but is woven into everyday life, a testament to their enduring commitment to serve others, stand up for justice, and honor the divine in all people. In understanding Sikhism, we glimpse a worldview that embraces selflessness, resilience, and the belief that serving humanity is one of the truest paths to God. Moving forward, we encounter number 6 on our list, Jainism. Jainism is one of the oldest religions in the world, with origins that can be traced back over 2,500 years in India. Though relatively small in numbers, around 4 to 5 million followers primarily in India, Jainism has had a profound influence on Indian culture, philosophy, and ethics. It's a religion that places the highest emphasis on non-violence, self-discipline, and respect for all forms of life, principles that guide every aspect of a Jain's life. The foundation of Jainism rests on 3 central principles: non-violence, known as ahimsa, karma, and asceticism. Together, these beliefs shape Jainism's unique worldview and ethical standards. Ahimsa, or non-violence, is the most important principle in Jainism, central to the religion's teachings and way of life. Ahimsa is more than simply refraining from physical violence. It encompasses thoughts, words, and actions. For Jains, non-violence extends to all living beings, from humans and animals to plants and even microorganisms. This reverence for life leads many Jains to adopt a vegetarian or vegan diet, and some Jains even avoid eating root vegetables like potatoes and onions, as harvesting them can harm small organisms in the soil. The practice of non-violence is considered the highest form of spiritual discipline, and it is seen as essential for purifying one's soul and progressing on the path to liberation. The concept of karma in Jainism is closely related to the principle of non-violence. Like Hinduism and Buddhism, Jainism teaches that karma is a force of cause and effect, but Jains view karma as a more tangible substance that clings to the soul. Every action, whether good or bad, produces karmic particles that attach to the soul, influencing its future incarnations. However, while good deeds can produce positive karma, they still bind the soul to the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. The ultimate goal in Jainism is to attain liberation, or moksha, by freeing the soul from all karmic particles. This liberation is achieved through right knowledge, right faith, and right conduct, a threefold path known as Ratnatraya. Asceticism is another key practice in Jainism, emphasizing self-discipline, simplicity, and detachment from material possessions. For Jains, worldly attachments and desires are seen as obstacles to spiritual progress, binding the soul with karma and increasing suffering. Jain monks and nuns take vows of extreme renunciation, giving up all possessions, family ties, and sometimes even clothing, as a demonstration of their commitment to spiritual purity. While lay Jains are not expected to practice such intense asceticism, they are encouraged to live modestly, engage in regular fasting, and cultivate detachment from material wealth and sensory pleasures. This emphasis on simplicity and self-discipline reflects Jainism's commitment to a life free from harm and full of respect for the world around us. Now let's dive into the intricate world of common myths in Jainism. Despite its rich history and unique philosophy, Jainism is often misunderstood, especially when it comes to its beliefs on reincarnation and the practice of asceticism. A common misconception about Jainism is that its beliefs on reincarnation are identical to those in Hinduism and Buddhism. While all 3 religions believe in reincarnation, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, they each have unique interpretations of this concept. In Jainism, reincarnation is driven by karma, which is seen as a physical substance that adheres to the soul. This karmic material weighs down the soul, binding it to the cycle of rebirth. In contrast, Hinduism generally views karma as a moral force that influences one's next life, while Buddhism sees karma more as a form of intention that affects rebirth but does not bind a soul, as Buddhism does not posit a permanent soul. In Jainism, the ultimate goal is to purify the soul of all karmic particles and reach a state of liberation, or moksha, which ends the cycle of reincarnation. Unlike Hinduism, where liberation may include merging with a universal divine, Jainism emphasizes the individuality of each soul, even after liberation. This distinction highlights Jainism's unique approach to reincarnation, focused on personal purity and the complete removal of karma. Another myth about Jainism centers on its ascetic practices, which are often seen as extreme or harsh. It's true that Jain monks and nuns practice intense forms of asceticism, such as fasting for extended periods, walking barefoot, and even practicing salakhana, a ritual fasting to death when they feel they have completed their spiritual journey. However, these practices are part of a highly disciplined and voluntary path for those who have renounced worldly life entirely. For lay Jains, those who live regular, non-monastic lives, the principles of asceticism are practiced in moderation. While lay Jains are encouraged to live simply, practice vegetarianism, and engage in occasional fasting, they are not expected to adopt the rigorous lifestyle of monks and nuns. Jain teachings emphasize compassion and non-violence, even in ascetic practices, ensuring that self-discipline does not lead to harm. This measured approach reflects the balance that Jains strive for between worldly life and spiritual growth, practicing asceticism in ways that honor their ethical principles. Now let's explore some of Jainism's impact on environmental and animal welfare movements. An interesting and often overlooked aspect of Jainism is its profound influence on environmental and animal welfare movements. The principle of ahimsa, or non-violence, has inspired Jains to advocate for animal rights, vegetarianism, and ecological preservation for centuries. Long before the modern environmental movement, Jains practiced and promoted respect for all forms of life, advocating against the exploitation of animals and the environment. In modern times, Jains have become active in promoting animal welfare causes, supporting vegetarianism, and raising awareness about sustainable living practices. Many Jain temples operate animal shelters, where sick and injured animals are cared for. Jain communities also often avoid industries that harm animals or the environment, such as leather production. Jains view environmental stewardship as an extension of ahimsa, recognizing that all forms of life are interconnected and that harm to one part of the ecosystem ultimately affects all beings. In addition to vegetarianism, some Jains adopt veganism to avoid contributing to industries that may cause indirect harm to animals. Jainism's emphasis on simplicity, non-violence, and respect for life has led many followers to adopt eco-friendly practices, including reducing waste, conserving water, and embracing plant-based diets. This commitment to environmental and animal welfare demonstrates Jainism's timeless relevance in addressing some of today's most pressing global issues. To wrap the segment of Jainism up, we can conclude that Jainism offers a path of profound respect for life, guided by principles of non-violence, self-discipline, and personal purity. Through its teachings on ahimsa, karma, and asceticism, Jainism encourages followers to live in harmony with all beings, reducing harm to themselves, others, and the environment. By dispelling myths surrounding Jain beliefs on reincarnation and the stereotypes about ascetic practices, we gain a clearer understanding of a religion that seeks spiritual growth through compassion and humility. Jainism's commitment to nonviolence has influenced countless movements, from animal welfare to environmental protection, showcasing its relevance in promoting a sustainable, peaceful world. For Jains, spirituality is not only about personal liberation, but about honoring the sacredness of all life. Through its unique approach to reincarnation, karma, and non-violence, Jainism continues to inspire individuals around the world, offering a vision of life that is both deeply spiritual and profoundly ethical. At number 7 on our list, we find Shinto. Shinto, the traditional religion of Japan, is a faith deeply interwoven with Japanese culture, history, and the natural world. Unlike many organized religions, Shinto doesn't have a single founder, sacred scripture, or set doctrine. Instead, it is a unique collection of beliefs, rituals, and practices that emphasize harmony with nature, respect for ancestors, and a reverence for the spiritual forces that shape life. Shinto's core belief is that everything in the natural world, trees, rivers, mountains, animals, and even people, has a spirit or essence known as kami. These kami are central to Shinto and embody the divine, giving life and meaning to all that exists. The word Shinto means the way of the gods or the way of the kami. Unlike gods in the Western sense, kami are not all-powerful or omniscient. Instead, they are spiritual forces that inhabit natural objects, landscapes, and sometimes extraordinary individuals. Kami can represent anything that inspires awe, from the sun and mountains to ancient ancestors and community guardians. Each kami has its unique character and role in the natural world, influencing everything from the growth of crops to the protection of villages. For Shinto followers, the kami are part of a delicate balance, requiring respect, reverence, and care. Shinto places great importance on maintaining a harmonious relationship with kami through rituals and offerings, usually conducted at shrines. Shinto shrines, often found amidst nature, are sacred spaces where people can connect with the kami, offer gratitude, and seek blessings. These shrines are usually marked by a torii, a traditional gate that symbolizes the boundary between the ordinary world and the sacred realm of the kami. Upon entering a shrine, visitors cleanse their hands and mouths with water as a sign of purity before offering prayers or gifts, such as food or small trinkets, to honor the kami. Shinto rituals and practices emphasize purification, gratitude, and humility, aligning one's spirit with the divine forces of nature. In Japanese culture, Shinto's influence can be seen everywhere, from festivals and daily life to values like respect for nature and community. Japanese customs such as seasonal festivals, the appreciation of cherry blossoms, and the ritual of New Year's shrine visits are all inspired by Shinto principles. The belief in kami encourages people to treat nature with reverence and respect, shaping Japan's unique blend of spirituality and environmental awareness. In Shinto, life itself is a sacred, interconnected cycle, and every act of kindness or gratitude contributes to maintaining balance with the kami. Though Shinto has a unique place in Japanese society, certain myths and misconceptions surround it, particularly regarding its structure and the nature of the kami. A common misconception is that Shinto is a strictly organized religion with a centralized system or hierarchy, similar to other major religions. In reality, Shinto is more accurately described as a collection of practices and beliefs deeply rooted in Japan's history and connection to nature. Shinto has no central religious authority or defined scripture, and it allows for personal interpretation and adaptation. Shinto shrines, which are typically independent, may have their unique rituals or customs based on the particular kami enshrined there or the region's history. Many Japanese people practice Shinto alongside Buddhism, viewing Shinto as a cultural heritage rather than a rigid system of beliefs. Shinto lacks a single organized system and instead serves as a flexible spiritual framework that adapts to each community's values and needs. This fluidity has allowed Shinto to coexist with other religions and influences such as Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism, resulting in Japan's distinctive spiritual landscape. For many Japanese people, Shinto is not about dogma or adherence to doctrine, but a way of honoring the spirit of life in all its forms. Another widespread myth is that kami are equivalent to gods in the Western sense, with the power to grant wishes or punish wrongdoers. However, kami are less like deities and more like spiritual energies or forces of nature. They can represent specific elements of the natural world, ancestral spirits, or the spirit of a place. Kami are not worshipped as supreme gods, but are honored as guardians and benefactors of life. They do not control fate or demand obedience. Instead, they symbolize the presence of the sacred within the everyday world, inspiring people to act with respect, humility, and gratitude. The kami's role is to maintain balance, purity, and harmony in the natural world. They do not interfere with human affairs in the way that gods are often believed to do in other religions. Kami are neither wholly benevolent nor malevolent. They simply embody the forces of nature and existence. By honoring the kami, people seek to live in harmony with the world and acknowledge the spiritual essence of all things. Misunderstanding kami as supernatural beings with human-like qualities oversimplifies their unique role in Shinto and Japanese culture. One of the most remarkable aspects of Shinto is its profound influence on Japanese traditions, festivals, and even social values. Shinto-inspired festivals, known as matsuri, are celebrated throughout Japan and reflect the changing of seasons, agricultural cycles, and community milestones. These festivals are vibrant, joyful occasions that bring people together to honor the kami and give thanks for life's blessings. For instance, the Gion Matsuri in Kyoto, held each summer, is one of Japan's most famous festivals and has been celebrated for over 1,000 years. This festival began as a purification ritual to appease the kami and protect the city from natural disasters. Today it includes parades, traditional music, and dances, symbolizing the community's gratitude and reverence for the kami. Another well-known Shinto-inspired festival is Hatsumode, the New Year's shrine visit. Each year, millions of Japanese people visit shrines during the first days of January to pray for health, happiness, and good fortune in the coming year. The influence of Shinto can also be seen in Japan's respect for nature. Traditions such as hanami, the practice of viewing cherry blossoms in spring, are deeply connected to Shinto ideas of appreciating the beauty and transience of life. In Japanese art, poetry, and literature, nature is often portrayed with reverence, reflecting Shinto's belief that the natural world is sacred. Shinto's focus on purity and respect for nature has fostered a culture that values environmental conservation and stewardship, inspiring many Japanese practices of sustainability and care for the land. Shinto is more than a religion. It is a way of seeing the world and finding the sacred in the everyday. Through its reverence for kami, nature, and the balance of life, Shinto offers a path of connection, humility, and gratitude. By dispelling myths about Shinto's structure and the nature of kami, we can appreciate the unique way this tradition views the world, not as a place to be controlled or conquered, but as a living, sacred entity to be respected and honored. Understanding Shinto gives us a glimpse into a worldview that treasures life, cherishes the natural world, and honors the invisible forces that sustain us. Our next stop at number 8 is Taoism. Taoism, one of China's oldest and most profound philosophical traditions, offers a unique and transformative approach to understanding life, nature, and the universe. Often described as the way or the path, Taoism provides a framework for living in harmony with the natural world, embracing balance and cultivating simplicity. Its roots can be traced back over 2,500 years, traditionally associated with Laozi, a legendary figure believed to have authored the Tao Te Ching, one of the most important texts in Taoist philosophy. The Tao Te Ching is a poetic and philosophical work that explores the nature of the Tao, which is the underlying principle that governs the universe. Tao can be loosely translated as the way or the path, and in Taoist thought, it represents the fundamental order of existence. Unlike a deity or a force that can be controlled, the Tao is mysterious, all-encompassing, and ever-present, guiding the cycles of life, change, and harmony. Laozi's teachings in the Tao Te Ching encourage individuals to align with the Tao by embracing Wu Wei, or non-action, which means acting in accordance with nature's flow rather than forcing outcomes or struggling against natural rhythms. Another key aspect of Taoism is the concept of yin and yang, symbolized by the well-known black and white symbol of two interlocking shapes. Yin and yang represent the complementary forces that exist in all things, light and dark, active and passive, expansion and contraction. These opposites are not in conflict, but are interdependent and create balance when they interact harmoniously. Yin and yang illustrate the Taoist belief that everything in life contains both light and shadow, strength and softness, and that by embracing these dualities, one can live in harmony with the world. This balance is evident in all aspects of nature, from the cycles of the seasons to the rhythms of the human body. Taoism is not only a philosophy, it also includes spiritual practices, rituals, and beliefs that encourage simplicity, humility, and compassion. Taoist meditation, breathing exercises, and Tai Chi are all techniques aimed at cultivating harmony with the Tao, calming the mind, and promoting physical health. Taoist teachings focus on personal well-being, spiritual development, and a deep respect for nature, encouraging followers to live with less material desire, more inner peace, and a deep sense of connection to the world. Despite its widespread influence, Taoism is often misunderstood, particularly regarding its approach to spirituality and its relationship with other Chinese traditions like Confucianism and Buddhism. One common misconception is that Taoism is strictly mystical or only concerned with spiritual enlightenment. While Taoism certainly contains elements of mysticism, it also emphasizes practical, everyday wisdom. Taoist teachings encourage people to observe nature, find balance in daily life, and live in a way that reduces struggle and enhances peace. Taoism's principle of Wu Wei, or effortless action, is not about passivity or inaction. Rather, it means responding naturally to circumstances without forcing outcomes. It's a philosophy that can be applied in everyday decisions, relationships, and work, encouraging simplicity, openness, and a calm mind. Another aspect often misunderstood is Taoist spirituality itself. Unlike some religions with a structured belief system, Taoism is more fluid, focusing on personal experience and inner harmony rather than dogma or rigid practices. For Taoists, spirituality is often about connecting with the natural world, understanding the rhythms of life, and finding inner peace through acceptance. This flexible approach allows individuals to interpret Taoism in ways that resonate with their own experiences and perspectives. Taoism is sometimes confused with Confucianism and Buddhism, two other influential traditions in China. However, each has distinct teachings and goals. Confucianism, founded by Confucius, is more focused on social order, ethics, and fulfilling one's duties in society. It emphasizes moral conduct, respect for authority, and the importance of education in creating a harmonious society. In contrast, Taoism encourages individuals to withdraw from societal expectations and instead follow the Tao, seeking personal harmony with nature and a more intuitive approach to life. While Buddhism shares certain concepts with Taoism, such as the importance of inner peace and meditation, the two have different origins and philosophies. Buddhism, which came to China from India, emphasizes the cessation of suffering and achieving enlightenment through the Eightfold Path. Taoism, by contrast, does not aim to escape suffering, but rather to flow with life's changes, embracing both joy and sorrow as natural parts of existence. Although the three traditions have influenced each other over centuries, each remains distinct in its teachings and practices. Interesting fact: Taoism's influence on Chinese medicine and martial arts. One of the fascinating aspects of Taoism is its influence on Chinese medicine and martial arts. Taoist principles of balance, harmony, and energy flow are fundamental to traditional Chinese medicine, which focuses on treating the whole person rather than just the symptoms. The concept of qi, or life energy, is central in Chinese medicine, where it is believed that health depends on the smooth flow of qi throughout the body. When qi is blocked or out of balance, illness or discomfort can occur. Techniques such as acupuncture, herbal medicine, and Tai Chi are used to restore this balance, helping individuals align their body's natural energy with the rhythms of the Tao. Taoist beliefs have also influenced martial arts, especially in disciplines like Tai Chi and Qigong. Unlike some martial arts focused on speed or force, Tai Chi emphasizes slow, deliberate movements that cultivate inner strength, balance, and mental clarity. Tai Chi practitioners move in harmony with their breath and focus on the flow of Qi, improving both physical health and mental calm. This emphasis on balance, flexibility, and adaptability reflects Taoism's teachings about living in harmony with natural forces rather than resisting them. For many, Tai Chi is not only a martial art, but a form of moving meditation that connects body and mind to the principles of the Tao. For those who follow the way of the Tao, Life is not about controlling outcomes or achieving status, but about moving with the world in harmony, appreciating both the beauty and the mystery of existence. In Taoism, we find a philosophy that celebrates simplicity, honors the natural world, and offers a path to inner peace through acceptance and wisdom. As we go on to number 9 on the list, let's discuss Confucianism. Confucianism is one of the most influential philosophical and ethical systems in East Asia, is rooted in the teachings of Confucius, a Chinese thinker and teacher who lived from 551 to 479 BCE. Born during a period of political turmoil and social upheaval, Confucius believed that a harmonious society could be achieved through moral virtue, personal development, and social responsibility. Today, Confucian values continue to shape cultures across East Asia, emphasizing respect for family, dedication to education, and the importance of ethics in social life. At the core of Confucianism is a focus on morality, social harmony, and respect. Confucius emphasized the importance of cultivating one's character, not only for personal growth but also to create a positive impact on society. He believed that each individual has a role to play within the family and society, and that a person's actions affect the harmony of the entire community. By fostering moral integrity, respect, and responsibility, Confucius taught that people could build a just and harmonious world. One of the key principles in Confucianism is the concept of Ren, often translated as benevolence or humanness. Ren is the idea of compassion and empathy for others, urging people to act with kindness, understanding, and consideration in their relationships. Confucius taught that Ren should be the foundation of all human interactions, guiding people to treat others with respect and understanding. Closely related to Ren is Li, a concept that refers to ritual, propriety, and proper conduct. Li represents the social norms and customs that guide behavior, from everyday manners to ceremonial rituals. For Confucius, observing Li was essential for maintaining social harmony and respect. Another vital element of Confucian thought is Zhao, or filial piety, which emphasizes respect and devotion to one's parents and ancestors. Confucius viewed the family as the building block of society, and he believed that by respecting one's family, a person could cultivate respect and loyalty toward their community and country. Filial piety encourages individuals to honor their parents, care for them in their old age, and continue to respect their memory after they have passed. This value has left a lasting impact on East Asian societies, where family loyalty and respect for elders remain deeply ingrained cultural values. Confucius also placed great importance on education as a means of self-cultivation and moral development. He believed that anyone, regardless of social status, could achieve virtue and wisdom through learning and self-improvement. Confucianism teaches that an educated individual is better equipped to contribute positively to society and make ethical decisions. Education in Confucian thought is not merely about acquiring knowledge. It is a lifelong journey of personal refinement, self-discipline, and moral growth. Despite its emphasis on ethics, respect, and self-cultivation, Confucianism is often misunderstood, especially regarding its role as a belief system and its perceived rigidity. One of the most common misconceptions is that Confucianism is a religion. In fact, Confucianism is primarily an ethical and philosophical system rather than a religion in the traditional sense. Confucius did not preach about gods, an afterlife, or divine intervention. Instead, he focused on principles of good conduct, respect, and responsibility. Confucian teachings provide a framework for living a virtuous life, but do not include practices like worship or prayer that are common in many religions. While Confucianism has been incorporated into religious practices over centuries, especially in rituals honoring ancestors and venerating Confucius as a revered figure, it is more accurately described as a philosophy. Confucian temples exist, but they are typically places for reflection, learning, and respect rather than religious worship. Many followers of Confucian values also practice Buddhism, Taoism, or other religions, finding that Confucian ethics complement their spiritual beliefs. Another misconception is that Confucianism is rigid or outdated, often criticized for emphasizing obedience, hierarchy, and social roles. While it's true that Confucianism values respect for authority and social order, these principles are balanced by the expectation that leaders and those in authority act with virtue, wisdom, and fairness. Confucianism teaches that rulers have a responsibility to be moral exemplars and that their power is legitimate only when they govern ethically. This concept is known as the mandate of heaven, where a just ruler is seen as having the favor of heaven, while a corrupt ruler loses it. Confucianism's emphasis on hierarchy and social roles has sometimes been misinterpreted as promoting authoritarianism. In reality, Confucian teachings stress mutual respect and a reciprocal relationship between leaders and followers, parents and children, teachers and students. Confucius taught that authority must be tempered with benevolence and respect should be earned through moral conduct. In this way, Confucianism promotes social harmony rather than submission, emphasizing that order comes from moral integrity and compassion rather than power alone. Confucian values have been adapted and interpreted in different ways throughout history, with some emphasizing obedience and others focusing on personal development. Modern interpretations of Confucianism continue to evolve, emphasizing ethical responsibility and respect for community values while encouraging individual growth and well-being. Confucianism has had an enormous impact on the cultures, values, and social structures of East Asia, particularly in China, Korea, Japan, and Vietnam. Its influence can be seen in family structures, educational systems, and social expectations throughout these countries. One of Confucianism's most lasting contributions to East Asian cultures is its emphasis on family loyalty, respect for elders, and reverence for ancestors. In Confucian-influenced societies, the family is considered the foundation of social life, and traditions such as ancestor worship, family gatherings, and respect for elders are common cultural practices. These values foster a sense of community, continuity, and responsibility across generations, encouraging individuals to place the needs of family and community above personal interests. Confucianism has also played a major role in shaping educational values across East Asia. Confucius's belief in the transformative power of education has made learning, discipline, and academic achievement deeply valued in Confucian cultures. In countries like China and South Korea, academic success is often seen as a pathway to personal development, family honor, and social contribution. This cultural emphasis on education has contributed to the high academic standards and strong work ethic commonly observed in East Asian societies. In addition, Confucian principles of ethical leadership and governance have influenced political philosophies in East Asia. Historically, Confucian teachings on the mandate of heaven and the responsibilities of rulers provided a moral framework for governance, emphasizing the importance of fairness, wisdom, and justice. In modern times, Confucian ideals of social harmony and responsibility have influenced both traditional and contemporary leadership styles, advocating a balance between individual rights and the common good. For followers of Confucian values, life is about achieving moral excellence, contributing positively to society, and honoring the relationships that connect us all. In Confucianism, we find a philosophy that encourages us to live thoughtfully, respect each other, and build a world that values both individual growth and collective harmony. And with that, as we reach the end of our journey through some of the world's major religions, it's clear that each one, with its own beliefs and practices, offers a unique perspective on life's most profound questions. From religions in search for inner peace to others emphasizing on social harmony, each faith reflects humanity's desire to understand the mysteries of existence, our place within the universe, and our responsibilities toward each other. These religions, though diverse in origin and tradition, share a common pursuit, a search for meaning, purpose, and a path toward living a good and fulfilling life. They teach us about compassion, respect, humility, and the importance of community. values that resonate across cultures and that are essential to building a peaceful world. In an increasingly connected yet divided world, understanding and respecting these different perspectives is more important than ever. By opening our minds and hearts, we can foster a deeper appreciation for the rich diversity of human belief and the shared values that unite us all. We invite you to share your thoughts and reflections in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation respectful and insightful, and let's celebrate the wisdom these traditions have contributed to our world. Thank you for joining us, and may this exploration inspire you to learn more, seek understanding, and appreciate the beauty of diversity in our global community.